It's time for Blender Challenge 7 render review. The challenge was to create a science lab and to post your final renders on the zerobio Discord. And here is what we have come up with for this challenge. So here's the first render, and as you can see, there's a lot of stuff going on in this image. I really like this sign, in particular the way this person has done the handle. I think that's just great. And bent this object and then applied the decals on there, so that works out very well. We got this cool little keypad over on the side there. Various pieces of furniture. It's definitely some glass with a strange unknown object. I'm not sure what that does. But I mean, look at these taps. That's great. Great taps. And of course you got to have your red button, your panic button or whatever. So there is one view of that, and I believe I've got a second view, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. All right, we're into a different classroom as well. This is Mr. Pilgrim's class here. Agenda, what are the elements? We got it's so nice to have this hand-drawn image as well, because this makes it look all the more realistic. But I mean, there's so many elements going on in this as well. My understanding is that these wooden textures, and perhaps all of these are not stock images. These were created, I believe, in Substance Designer. So there's a level of skill there as well. All the way up to the boxes, which look very realistic. You got to have a fire hydrant or a fire extinguisher in your classroom. We've got some plastic bag work going on there, and just a lot of elements that you would typically find in a classroom. It looks like it could be a photograph, doesn't it? Here's another view of that same classroom, and it looks like so many classrooms that I've taught in. Details even like the poster here coming away from the wall a little bit make it look incredibly realistic. All of these lab benches with the lab stools there, just great work. And then you've got your teacher's demonstration desk up at the front. So a lot of work going into that science lab. And of course, science lab didn't have to mean a classroom, but it did for some people. So it's great. And here's another science lab, again looking so similar to the kind of places that I taught in for many years. From the posters that are on the wall, okay, making it look like a real science classroom, to the dusty chalkboard here. And then at every lab station, you've got some chemicals here, some colorful chemicals in the test tubes here. We've got our gas valves for our Bunsen burners, which are underneath here. There's a Bunsen burner there with a beaker up top, and these retort stands. A lot of great elements going on here with a really beautiful desk. This would be an expensive classroom. And of course, if you look over to the side, you've got some other cabinetry there. But I mean, look at the shades, the blinds here, and these beautiful ceiling lights. So incredibly realistic. Here's another view of that classroom with the desks, because often these classrooms have two roles. They're not just a lab, but you've got the benches, and this nice curved arm here to the chair. Here we can see that at what looks like 1:15 perhaps, students would definitely be in class. And of course, the doors are just like the kind of doors you would see in a classroom. So great work. Cool. Science lab doesn't have to be a classroom though, does it? Here we've got some kind of weird robotic or alien creature. This is really, really eerie and really different with the pipes. And we've got what looks like a broken lab. Looks like this lab is out of control. Something got out or got in. I love this right here. This is great. So really cool science lab there. Yeah, well, like I say, the challenge started out with just okay, just make a piece of science equipment or something on a desk. It doesn't have to be a whole scene. This person decided to do some kind of a really cool laser here. We got the decal, put it on here. Class 2 helium neon label. Do not stare into beam. It's hard not to stare at this. Really nice glow going on here from in here. This kind of glow to a very sharp point right there. So that's really nice, and I love the way the text is put on here with the glowing yellow button, and don't forget the key to operate this thing. So that's a very cool render, very cool piece of equipment. All right, another science lab. All right, so there's a lot to look at here. We've got all kinds of specimen bottles or chemical bottles here with various types of labels. There's lots of labels or decals put on here, and a lot of different shapes of bottles as well that would have had to be modeled for this. I really like this one. That's really cool. They're all great. And we've got something on his side here. And look at the glassware here with the coiled tube, like a distillation apparatus coming out, which is really nice. Sort of caps and joining structures. A beautiful retort stand with double, like ring clamps or whatever kind of clamps those are, C clamps or whatever, and a very interesting pipe work above and lamps. And then of course you got your power supply and your dusty periodic table. Isn't that great? So again, we got boxes with tape and decals. So just a lot of stuff going on. And let's not forget, there, I almost missed that, the little eyedropper. And then of course these blue big vats for, I don't know, I think we used to get our specimens and stuff like that back when it was okay to dissect stuff. Times have changed, and that's too bad, but it's the way it was. We all learned from dissecting the frogs and the fetal pigs, but it was sad too. And I changed my mind about all that as the years went on as well. And I was pressured to do it. You couldn't just say, I feel wrong about this. Anyways, back to the render. So here's another view of the same thing, and it just looks really great. There's a really nicely done liquid in here. So again, these challenges take a lot of skill in a lot of different areas of modeling and texturing. With this, I don't know, window covering or something. I'm not quite sure what that is, but just look at the texture on that as well. Zone 2B. Yeah, okay, very nice. And here's another style, okay, of sort of sci-fi science lab. We got the guys in the tubes. We got the computer display of what's going on with those guys. We got some cable work going on there. And of course we got these things, really nice emission on this, so it makes it very bright, very cool to see. And I've got another view of this lab here with a whole other section. You could definitely go through this corridor, and it's got that sort of stark, clean, antiseptic feel to it. What is going to be down the hall? Don't you just want to find out? I love this though. I think these displays just make this image so cool. We got that sort of very sci-fi kind of cabinetry here. What looks like a balance of electronic balance of some sort, but it could be something else, with the glassware and the books, with even a little bit of emission on this, and then another piece of lab equipment. So, and not let's not forget the star or whatever that said, laboratories. Of course, I assume that's laboratories, even though you can't see the word. We complete it in our heads, don't we? Again, if you're going to be doing a science lab, it often will be very clean and pristine. And look at how nice this is. This is a gorgeous microscope, I believe, of some sort, with the integrated iPhone or some kind of a screen. Everything just comes together so nicely. with the specimen, I assume, there with your buttons and your dials. This is such a nice piece of equipment. And even this thing, it's like a simple kind of a model, but it just fits the scene so nicely, especially with those white tiles in behind. And then we've got all of these slides. We've got one on here, and we've got some others on this stand. And these ones just great. I love this piece of equipment right here. This handle, you pull that off with this shiny glass, hard plastic. With these handles, those are just so nice. Yeah, this one and this one, this one. I just feel like I could pick it up. And then we got these really cool tubes as well. So this really nice work by everybody. And then there's my stuff. Not as many people were able to join this one. I think this one happened over the holidays, and people are busy and dealing with work and school and just life in general. And so not everyone gets a chance to finish them. But anyways, this is what I came up with, and it started with this concept of having some kind of vegetation or living organic material left over in a sort of a post-apocalyptic world. Now, I don't know how post-apocalyptic this looks. It looks more to me like some kind of a lounge or a bar sometimes with these bricks. But that was the idea anyhow. And so I built a lab around that and put in a bunch of pieces. And I got a little carried away here and there. And I just kept adding and adding. And part of my feeling is that I ended up cluttering it up more than anything else, but I had fun, and I had to have some references to alien isolation. And up here you can see there's another render that I had done for an alien isolation style theme. That's the alien motion tracker. You got the chemical formula for caffeine and a few things on the clipboard with some pins here. In addition to the crates that contain the vegetation, we made a little DNA and various pieces of glassware, and then I threw in some sort of old computer stuff. I didn't expect to be rendering from this angle, so I didn't put much work into the stool at all. And then, of course, I wanted some kind of gears so that it would be sort of steampunk-like. And I think I've got another angle of this. All right, just more of the same. All right, so you can see I've got a little particle system here for the vegetation, and my desk area here with a sort of an old style microscope that's been retrofitted with like some kind of a PDA with the card and a computer, and I guess they sync together. It says here microscope link sys. Yeah, so all those different elements coming together. So it definitely takes a lot of time and effort, and of course I kind of copped out when it came to the books, and I just, they could have been done differently. But anyways, that was Blender Challenge 7, and those are the renders that I got. And so I want to remind you that the next challenge is coming up and has already started, Blender Challenge 8, which is to create a corridor. In my case, I'm doing an old train station, but you can do anything that you want for that. And the due date is Sunday, February the 28th. And you can post your whips and then your final renders on the zerobio Discord. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you be part of the challenge, or at least come by and check out what people are doing. Take care, everybody. See you again soon.